I'm Wesh, and one of the things that we're doing at Smith-Marion is focusing on trust and estate, both on the after-the-fact accounting, assisting the fiduciaries with their responsibility in reporting to courts, reporting to beneficiaries, but also in preparing for the individual and business owner for their eventual succession, retirement, and also death. Even though that's something that we don't really like to talk about too much, it is reality, right? We have an aging population, estate planning and financial planning. We have a very wealthy older generation. There's a lot of concentration of wealth within the baby boom generation and the older Gen X generation. And they have very specific ideas about how they want that all to play out. The more we can plan ahead of time and where we can assist in the planning ahead of time, the less we have to spend, the estate or the trust has to spend in the end in administering and coming up with ways to sometimes litigate or sort out the finances of the decedents. So there's really a multi-pronged approach. Is like, are you ready? Are you setting everything up the way that you want? Are you making sure that you're not creating strife within your family, among your offspring? Basically being able to maintain the familial bonds that are there without having to fight over, the spoils of, your life. That is becoming increasingly difficult. I mean, we see more, or I see more families being torn apart by inheritance than probably anything else. So all the planning that you can do ahead of time, we want to be able to assist you with. We do get to the end, then we also want to be able to assist that fiduciary, that trustee or administrator of the estate, fulfill their fiduciary responsibility to report what they need to report, engender trust in the other beneficiaries who often see only a small piece of what's going on and question the decisions of the fiduciary. The downfalls of not having proper estate planning is that you're essentially leaving things for a court to decide on your behalf. By having a trust, by reviewing that trust on a regular basis, at least every 5 years, by putting in ironclad provisions to ensure that beneficiaries who sue the fiduciary, unless it's for misconduct, for lack of a better word, punished financially for their actions. If you have beneficiaries that are not good managing their finances, right, there are ways that you can direct those funds into sub-trusts and make sure that they're taken care of for life, or at least for a prolonged period of time, rather than just handing them a stack of money and they burn through it within a year. Proper planning when it comes to estates and trusts really ensures that there's harmony within the family. There continues to be harmony within the family as long as that exists to begin with, and it keeps the courts away from making decisions for you based on strictly bloodlines or other criteria that a judge may use to decide who gets what and why. The reasons people don't plan for their estate is that, number one, people don't like to confront the fact that that they will die at some point in time. And unfortunately, the older they get, the more likely they are to not want to confront that reality. It's pretty easy for a 30-year-old to say, hey, I'm going to die someday, but it's a long ways off. So I can probably just spend some time right now to think of something, and their life is simple, right? It's like, maybe they just purchased their first house, maybe they've got their first child. There's not a lot of wealth accumulated in most cases, so creating a trust is pretty simple. What you're going to do is, you purchased your house, you're going to put the house in a trust, and you're going to set up some mechanism of taking care of your children in case something happens to you, right? I mean, it's a remote possibility, but you can easily set up a trust for a few $100s and you have something to get started with. And then it also becomes much easier to maintain that, right? So 5 years down the road, you now have another child, maybe you acquired a rental property, start adding some things to it. Maybe another few years down the road, you decide, hey, you have some charitable intent, so you really want to, add something to the trust to take care of your favorite charity. And that growth then becomes, again, pretty easy to adjust for. When you set up your first trust when you're in your 60s or 70s, there's a lot of moving parts, right? There's potentially grandchildren and, maybe there's stepchildren, there's his and hers. So now you've got, sub-trusts and bypass trusts and marital trusts and so on and so forth. And so at this point, you're really wanting to involve an attorney in drafting the original trust. You're talking about potentially thousands of dollars. And you're also now much closer to that eventuality of your own demise. It's like, oh, do I really want to confront that right now? And then do I want to pay somebody to do it? The earlier you can get started, the more you can keep your trust up to date. The closer you get to the eventuality of your own demise, the more it becomes important to have that trust in place, but it becomes more and more difficult to actually create it. So the earlier you can get started, the better it is overall.